my second question. It's related to the first question, because we just started talking about design and how you found, I'm sorry to bring this back to a comparison, but it's just since it's my first time spending so much time in Toronto, and there's just certain observations that I really want to talk about, and in comparison to my culture. So, so you just said that the design component in English creation is different, and how do you explain it? How do you explain that very often what I find is that everything revolves around language in the Anglo-Saxon world, and much less so in the Francophone community. What is your relationship to language? Is it because you said that you did a lot of Buffon work, so now in that piece, it's extremely verbal. So there's many questions in my question right now, but let's say, okay, what is your relationship to language, and then if we have time, if you can talk to me about your observations about that, maybe in your community and global.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. So when somebody came to see the show on opening, and they were like, "I've never seen you speak so much. It's great to see you handling text like that." So my history is often not text-based. It's, it's like I come out with no legs and no arms in a wheelchair, and it's every movement, there's a relationship being built. So my history is more of, it's a complicité with the audience. So like, what is this relationship? And it's through my training, is movement, then sound, then text is last, always. So, and we get at that through improvisation. So it's like, what's bubbling in here? What's my burning question? How does that come out in my body? And then how does it come out in sound? And then text. So that's how and as a child, that's how I usually work. And that's the kind of theater I love. I love it. I find it so much more visceral, and I relate to more aspects of it. Language, with this show, like I also really like talking. I'm like so it's been amazing to have that text, and I think given more time, because it's a brand new show that opened 3 days ago for the first time, I saw an audience. I don't even know what the show is yet. Finding like what are the nuances of the play in between the words, because that's all it's ever about. It can't be about the words, and at least that's how I was taught, and that's what I believe. Like the words are sort of subsidiary, and really we focus on you and the beauty of the actor or the dancer or the creator who breathes life into the ghost of the words. And then obviously it's nice when people walk away and say, wow, the writing's really good. But I think, we relate to the experience of that being on stage over, and the words support that. Yes?
And why so many words in the community, in the creation work, and why ghost? You said the ghost of the words. Why? Yeah.
Why? Continue. What do you mean? Why do I say ghost?
No. But why are there more words than ghosts?
Oh. Yeah. So I love this question because I have a lot of opinions about it. I'm like, and I don't want to. I don't know if I'm right about anything. So.
But you don't need to.
I know it's true. I don't need to. I think it's our it's what's maybe taught early on in the education. It's like not it's text based. You're interpreters often of language, and that's what an actor is supposed to be, as opposed to you're the living body. So that's what are the possibilities of that body? There's everything. There's definitely Shakespeare and Chekhov, and then there's clown and Buffon and melodrama and dance and mime and and multimedia and sound. Like there's so many opportunities. So I think I'm going to switch over a bit to say when I see the work that comes out of Quebec often, I'm like, this is where it's at in terms of moving form forward. And that's where I'm like, I might not be right, and maybe that's, and people will argue me about whatever. But often I feel that. I'm like, there's a, not that I don't love text, I fucking love text so much. But I think there's an integration that's really interesting. That's what I should probably say. That's how, not interesting is such a lame word. That should be part of, again, I use this word vernacular, that like, that fact that would even be considered a foreign thing to theater is stupid. So I know with what you're doing, like I'm really interested to see that because it's pushing form, right? Some other things that I've seen in Quebec as well are like, this is pushing form. In Toronto, oh my God, I have so many opinions. Toronto, we're conservative. It's quite a conservative town. So, I was doing the show a week ago. I was like, said to the director, I'm like, is this even offensive? I don't even know. Like, I live in this world all the time. Isn't it light? He's like, no, many people are going to be quite upset by what you're doing. I'm like, oh, okay, then that's fine. As long as that's happening, then I'm okay. But for me, again, it's part of my interest too. I'm finding it fascinating what people get their back up over. I'm like, really? That's offensive? I find it just so funny. Anyway, so,
It's great.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
I'll ask.